To be honest, I've never had to worry about crayfish here. We've had 1 or 2 reports of nibble baits, and I've seen a couple of scored baits myself, but it's never been an issue. But a few weeks ago we saw 1 or 2 in the margins, and then during the period of heavy rain we actually saw crayfish walking bold as brass down one of the driveways, and we thought, maybe we've got a problem. Since I caught this one crayfish, I haven't had any reports from anglers that they've had any nibble baits, so it's difficult to say whether we've got an issue or not. But just because we've never had a crayfish problem doesn't mean we haven't got one now, and the only way to find out is to set a few traps and see what happens. So to start with, I've set 2 traps. Right, let's have a go with some cat food. So we've got some chicken flavour in a tin, and a friend of mine that's been quite successful about doing this has recommended punch holes in a tin cat food. Yeah. Right, note to self, don't do that again. So that's the bait tin there in its little pouch, and then the crays are going to go in there and they'll enter this section here, and then it's a double-ended fish trap basically. It's a pike trap on a small scale. I've set both in shallow water because that's where I've seen the crayfish. Now the traps are set, I'm going to come back tomorrow and see whether we've caught anything. Our guests at the moment have been here for 2 weeks and they're very excited because they love their outdoor cooking. They've got a cob set up in the swim, and so they're cooking outdoors every night, and they're convinced that they are going to have crayfish for breakfast. So we'll see what we can do for you boys. Absolutely nothing. Well, there we go, that's kind of good news really. Right, let's have a look at trap number 2. And we've caught 1 crayfish. There he is. No, 2 of them. 2 big buggers. This one's going for a run. He's in. That is not a small creature, is it? Flipping heck. So you're going to use them as bait? Or you're going to cut the claws off?
Cut the claws off because they might nip the line otherwise.
Yeah.
Cut the claws off.
Yeah.
And actually I might polyball them again.
Okay. Them. Yeah, suspended crayfish. Why not? You're going for the cats, so yeah. Well, there you go. There's some absolute crackers there.
Yeah, awesome.
There we go. If we've caught 2, there's definitely more to be caught. The ones that I've caught here are American red signal, and that's a problem because they are an alien species. They're invasive. They migrate over land, especially during periods of heavy rain, and this is why I think all of a sudden we've got a problem. And it's not just us. Cases are being reported all over France at the moment. Yeah, so before Bill goes and rigs these up as bait, I just want to check the underside for eggs, and I can't see any eggs off there. So if there were eggs, I'd brush those off or wash those off. Let's have a look at the other one. Yeah, no, can't see anything there at all. How are you going to do it then, Phil?
Tether from the tail. Probably push a tether or a hole through there. Yeah. And then put a get a piece of braid and put a tether on. Yeah. And then I clip it onto the. I've got little clips on the hooks where I tether on the live baits. Yeah. I'll do it in the same way as that.
Okay. Yeah, and it's going to be a suspended polyball.
So it's suspended polyball. Yeah, nothing's been coming on the bottom, so I'll fish it maybe 2 feet below the surface or something.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, be interesting to see if that works.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. If red signal crayfish are left unchecked, they can really take over a water. I've never really had a problem here with anglers reporting nibbled baits or clawed baits or even snipped baits, but if I don't get control of these signal crayfish now, within a number of weeks anglers are going to start having problems, and then we're going to have to switch to rock hard baits, salt cure baits, or even using these wraps and mesh. And I want to avoid that. I don't want customers to have to contend with these issues. It's a hassle at the end of the day. These carp are tricky enough to catch at the best of the times, so the last thing that they need is to be wrestling with other problems and worrying whether they've still got a bait on overnight. So the oxygen low is at 6.4 this morning, which is just brilliant. It's recovered really quickly, so I'm very confident that the bacteria treatment has really helped us stabilise things. In recent years the splash aerators have become pretty much a crutch for us. It's just what we've used to keep us going. Now I'm hoping that the splash aerator units can go back to what they were originally intended to be, which is for emergencies only. Yeah, got another one. Yeah, 2. Now that's interesting. I just caught a crayfish here, and I don't think it's an American red signal. Completely different size of claws. This one that I've caught in the trap at the same time. There we go. That's the telltale claws of the American red signal. But look at these. Tiny, tiny little claws. So I'm not sure, but I think that might be a native crayfish. And the native crayfish just aren't a problem for us. So I'm going to put him back. Now that the oxygen levels are back up, I'm going to whack a couple of buckets of feed into the carp this morning. I don't do it all the time, but we've got some catfish anglers on this week, and it's really not going to interfere with their fishing. All I do is row out to a spot and whack it in, really. I do 6 scoops per spot. That'll do. Apart from good oxygen level, of course, the other thing I want to see before I even consider doing this are the carp feeding? Are they showing? Can I see any fizzing? And yeah, I haven't seen a show, but I've seen multiple signs of fizzing this morning, and I've only been here half an hour, so it doesn't take long to work out that they're on it. They're always pretty much on it, unless the conditions are off, and the conditions have been hard. But now that the conditions are better, now the oxygen's right, the temperature's fantastic, not too hot, not too cold, yeah, they're going to be on it. They're going to be smashing it. So we give them what they want by keeping the feed going into spots consistently. You know, when I do feed the same spots. It just helps. It helps keep those spots clean. It helps to get the carp in a habit of knowing that, oh, there's regularly food there, so it just makes them easier to catch. So in any situation, if you've got access to a water that you can regularly put some bait into, and you've fished it before, you've caught a few, you know what the crack is, then get some food into them on a regular basis. Just whatever you've got, whatever you can. Soaked grains, maize, a few boilies if you can do that. But yeah, just whatever you've got. It doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be expensive. So we've got an absolute monster in the trap this morning. I have never seen a crayfish that big. That is absolutely freaking massive. Oh my god. What a monster.
Oh bosh.
I mean, it's the size of your hand.
It's a lobster.
Oh my god.
Good eating.
Yeah, just get him in the pot.
Yeah.
Remains of crayfish, but it was good, yeah?
Delicious.
Fantastic.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah. So how long did you cook it for?
I boiled it for 5 minutes.
Okay. Did you salt the water at all?
I put a bit of salt in the water.
Okay.
And
yeah.
It was absolutely delicious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gorgeous. Cool. I just want more now.
Yes. Yeah.
So inside, like a female crab.
Okay.
When they've got the sort of like the eggs inside,
yeah.
You know, which is the red meat.
Yeah.
When it's boiled up, the dark meat. There's a pheromone inside that,
okay,
which sends fish crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's they call it cart.
Cart.
Okay. And they use it for catching cod.
Okay.
You know, sea fishing for cod.
Okay.
And basically, what it is, the cod go mad for it because of the pheromones.
Okay.
And yeah, so what they do, they call them salted wings.
Okay.
They get the edible crab.
Yeah.
And they take the wings. That's what they call them, the wings. They put a bit of salt on them,
yeah,
and it cures it basically.
Right.
Makes it pliable for you know, to sort of like put on the hook.
Okay.
Put it on with elastic.
Right. Okay.
And the cod just go crazy for
Right.
it. And I'm thinking, if it works for cod, why wouldn't it work for carp?
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Interesting.
So you could so what I'm saying is you could get an edible crab, female edible crab.
Yeah.
Take the insides out if it's got the raw in it, the eggs.
Okay.
Mix that in with the mix.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that could work.
Could be a massive edge.
Could, yes.
You've blown it now. You just told everyone.
But yeah, I've never tried it, but I suspect it works for cod, so
Yeah.
I can't see why it wouldn't work for another species.
Oh,
so.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
So why on earth am I sitting in a boat with what looks like a bathtub in front of me with water peeing out of the back of the boat? It's a good question. So we're applying live bacteria to the lake to combat green algae. The live bacteria's sole purpose in life is to outcompete green algae for nutrients. So for treatment number 3 of the live bacteria, I've got a new plan. Treatments 1 and 2 were done with a manual sprayer, and it worked, but it was blooming hard work. We had to row around the lake, we had to walk around the margin, and it took hours. 450 litres of mix to apply, and that's an awful lot of spraying. So I've got a new plan. Had a chat with a mate, we've just come up with a new idea. We've got a bin of water, and I've got a little aquatic pump. That's being run off a power bank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put lake water into the bin. I know that when I fill up to a certain mark on the bin, I've got about 25 litres of lake water. I'll then put in 2.5 litres of mix and we'll pump it straight out of the back. All I've got to do then is row round the lake, and that'll evenly distribute the bacteria mix into the lake. Okay, panic over. Apparently this little pump needs priming, which is a technical way of saying I just had to suck some water through the hose to get it to run. I'm going to try and get the coverage as even as possible. Row around the margin to start with, because the larger the surface area that this gets pumped in, the better it's going to work. So it's the 1st of August today, and we're just getting into the warmest part of the year. As you can see behind me, we have no green algae, but that's only because we've done 2 previous treatments, and they've done a really good job of managing the algae levels. In previous years we've had to use a lot of aeration in order to beat the algae up and maintain stable oxygen conditions. The live bacteria enables us to maintain stable oxygen conditions, which means better fishing without the disruptive use of powerful splash aeration. You can hear it's quiet, it's beautiful, it's a lovely place to fish, but it's still fishing. The oxygen is good. This is what it's all about. I'm just going to up the pump speed to speed 3, otherwise I'm going to be at this all day, which is fun and all, but you know. Right, I've whacked it up to speed 4, so that's 300 litres an hour. I'm quite happy with the drain rate at that. Still going to take me a couple of hours to do this, but so we're super happy with the way that this new live bacteria is working for us. Less noise pollution, more stable oxygen conditions, happier fish, better fishing. So thus far it's looking great. We still need to see how the rest of the season goes. Be interesting to see whether this 3rd bacteria treatment just eradicates that little bit of green that we're just starting to see come through now. Yeah, we will update you on the progress of this project later in the year. So according to the weather forecast, we are going to get quite a serious amount of rain tomorrow morning. We're going to have a couple of centimetres fall in just 2 hours, and this can have a big effect on the level of the lake, and it's also probably going to kill the oxygen level. So I'm going to take a few preemptive measures. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the summer board. This will actually allow more water to pass over the sluices than is normally possible at this time of year. This is going to reduce the risk of flooding. So when the water exits the lake, it comes out the main tube there, goes through the pêcherie and exits out the sluice. That's my very broken grill there. I'm going to get that fixed this winter. I'm not really expecting a level rise on the scale that we saw a few weeks ago, but I'll probably have to pull the summer board out at some point anyway over the next day or so. But if I take it out now, it's just going to balance the system a little better. Well, I'm just on site doing a few jobs, and Michael, who's fishing with us this week, has just lifted into one, so let's go and have a look, see how he's getting on, see what he's got.
It took me into a snag, so I had to just slacken off, and then it came out, and then it took me all the way down there. Nice fish, whatever it is.
Have you seen it yet at all?
No, but I've seen a flash. I think it's a carp, you know.
Yeah. I heard something. I thought I could have sworn I heard a delk. Oh, he's going to do you under the boat. Oh, easy, tiger. Wow, you did really well to extract him. Didn't have to go out in the boat or anything. Here we go. Get in that net. Job done, mate. Sweet, mate. So that was what, 32?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take what? Tigers, Scopex.
Scopex,
yeah. Blowback multi again?
Blowback multi.
Yeah, just like we showed you yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you already knew that rig anyway, but...
Over the moon with that.
Yeah. That's number 4,
it's number 4 now.
Yeah,
less than 24 hours.
Yeah, you haven't even done a night. Let him swim. How's the mouth? Good?
Yeah, spot on actually.
Yeah? Ah, cool. Yeah. Very easy to unhook, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, mate, well, just hold him up. Right, he's going. He's off. There you go. He's gone. Nice one, mate.
Brilliant. Good timing, that, eh?
Good times. Good times.
Brilliant.
Eh? So the last time we had a change in level, I noticed that these straps were a bit tight, and because I need the aerator to change in height basically, and if they're too tight this unit could tip over, and that's no good at all. So I managed to sort it this other side with a longer loops that's got more play in it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to adjust the other side to match. Just snip those other cable ties off, and that's got more play, that can go up and down. So if I get a change in level, then it's not going to run the risk of tipping this unit over, because that's where the motor lives in these things. If that gets tipped upside down, I've basically scrapped a very expensive aeration unit, so which would be bad. Now I know many anglers think that rain is going to oxygenate the lake, but that is not the case. The drop in air pressure is going to have a far greater effect on the oxygen level than any oxygen that's transferred from the drops of rain into the water will. So I know it's going to rain, I know there's going to be a drop in DO, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put one of these aerator units on so I can just anticipate the drop that we're probably going to have. All I've got to do is scythe my way through the jungle here, find the control box, flip the switch, and we're on. So we're getting some overflow from the top lake, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut that overflow down, because I know that we're going to get more water coming down this little stream tomorrow. And by doing that, I'm hoping to limit the level rise of the lake. I'm also trying to reduce the amount of silt that gets transferred from the lake above into us. So I've just popped this board into position here. I'm not going to fix it because it's not going to stay here for very long at all. It's really stemmed the flow. I've just come out to the second unit here, and this operates on a boom pole from the bridge there, and there's some vertical play in that unit, a bit of lateral as well. Even if the level rises, that pole is going to flex and bend, and if the level drops, it's also going to be okay. So I'm quite happy with that. So we're changing our management style from reactive to proactive. We're trying to head these problems off before it impacts the fish and the quality of the fishing. It's all about making it more stable and more predictable. I can see there's plenty of water in the boat, so by turning the aerator on I've limited the losses today. I've kept the same reading as yesterday. Without the aerator on this would have been lower. Because the rain is only going to last this morning, it's going to clear up later, the pressure's going to rise, so I feel confident enough to turn this aerator off. That'll give everyone a bit of peace and quiet, and the fish should be absolutely fine. That's better. Let's go over the road and see what the level's looking like over there. This lake has stayed relatively flat. It's come up a bit. We might actually see that level rise over the next 24 hours, but we certainly haven't had any transfer of silt into ours because I put that board up. I do want to continue the water exchange, so once the threat of rain and level rise has gone away, then I'm going to lift that board and we'll have water running over this weir again. What have we got here then? Oh, we've got a little roach, look. This is one of the reasons why you can't leave these traps for too long, because if that little roach stays in there for too much longer, he's going to die, look. So we're going to rescue him and slip him back. There you go, fella. There we go. Right, just going to have a little look at what is in Michael's bait boat here. So what have we got, mate? We've got those are the veggie pellets in the spinner there. Yeah. That's going to create a nice spread of bait. Then we've got some Scopex flake, some Scopex boilie, some of the Scopex pellets, and that's the oily hemp you used, yeah?
Oily hemp, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic. Cool. It's working a treat, eh?
Yeah, it is indeed.
Yeah, so this bait boat is driving itself out to the spot now, and then Michael's managing the line to keep it tight, and it's just slowed down as it approaches the spot, and then it's automatically going to drop the rig, bait in the hopper, and then do its spread. Look at that, I even got shot with pellets. That is awesome. Here it is, sailing itself back to the home position. So I caught a couple of crays this morning and I've just smashed them up, put them in on top of some Scopex squid and flake and pellets and some veggie pellets that was left over for this week. So yeah, they're going to go back to feed the fish, make wonderful fish food. They'll love them. Really good oxygen again this morning. Yeah, that's just fantastic for mid-July. Vindication, the new program is absolutely working. Now look at this bad boy. There we go.
Look at the size of him.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh.
Hey?
Whoa, he's a bit angry.
Amazing, eh?
Size of it.
Well, you do not want to get nipped by one of them, eh? Yeah, so all you do is that's going to make a lovely lunch. Get some lake water, stick them in the bucket, and then just purge them out for 24 hours. Yeah, I'm going to put a lid on that, and I'm going to put that in the put it in the shade. Yeah, fling him out like that. If you're fishing a water that's got crayfish in it, you're going to have to factor in some losses. Loss of hook baits and loss of actual free baits that you're introducing. One of the worst things you could possibly do is pile all your bait into a big heap. I'm a big fan of setting small traps and seeing what occurs. And it's something I encourage all our guests to do as well. And that's great up to a point, but if there's evidence that the crayfish are coming in and raiding your traps, well, scouring up your baits, then you might have to reevaluate. The way I get over this problem on the river is I just use big hard baits, 24 millers, and I spread them over a wide area. Always makes me laugh when anglers talk about accuracy and getting them all tight on a spot, and I spread my bait everywhere, you know. If I'm fishing big public water, I might have a line of bait 60 metres long or more. And I want to encourage the carp to move over that area, and I don't want to give the crays or the poisson chat that target to home in on either. At the end of the day, you may as well set down table and chairs and give them napkins. You know, you're setting out a banquet for everything, and that's okay if you can use a lot of bait and keep the bait going inconsistently. But yeah, not everyone can do that.